All right, we are live, it looks like. Welcome to another Thursday night jam with RCJesus and SASquatch. Chris, aka Scale Audio Solutions, the SASquatch, is not here tonight. He works at a high school and he's helping the theater department. They're having major audio issues, apparently, and they're opening nights tomorrow, so he's being a good guy and helping out with that. Welcome, Reckless. And tonight we have Mike George on from Carry RC. Everyone say hi, Mike. And so yeah,
What's going
Mike,
on?
he owns Carry All. He's been into RC for a while, and we'll let him go and start talking.
I can't help but notice that prop sitting behind you. I know we'll probably have to get to that shortly,
Yeah, I'll be dicking
but
around.
that is some eye candy right out of the gate. And I am super disappointed that we couldn't get Scale Audio here with us tonight.
Yeah,
Uh, the older we get, the more mature we have to be, the more adult we have to be. As as I watch you
reason.
start the safety meeting,
Oh yeah, like
we
what's up, Rob? What's up, Wayne? What's up, Juice Box?
party in the house,
Yep.
getting down with Jesus. It is an epic honor to be with you on a Thursday night, sir. Uh, this is the place that you can come, just hang out, unscripted, have some
Yep.
fun. And guess what? We can be grown men and talk about RC.
Yep.
I
It's age
couldn't think of a
restricted to
better way.
18 and up, so it's all rated R from here on out.
No, wow. You're not worried about monetizing nothing. We're gonna keep this super duper.
Yeah.
Well, I got a lot of PG-13 in me. It's hard
Yep.
for me to get 2X rated all the time. I did send you my movie prop earlier in the
Yeah,
day. I
you
said
tricked me.
I'm getting tuned up. I got the moonshine ready. Uh, Obviously, it is water, um, but it is
You got
fun to
me.
at least pretend. I had to at least pretend I could fit in with you and hang.
Well, I'm opening tomorrow at the shop, so I don't want to be tired and hungover. So it's just smokes tonight for me as well. What's up,
So
JT?
how J team in the house? So how is life in the
Excellent,
shop?
my man. How about yourself? How's business going and everything?
Uh,
Fill everyone in. What do you do? How'd you get into RC? What's your favorite ship?
okay,
All that good stuff.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, because I brought some show and tell. We'll call it show
Perfect.
and tell.
Yep.
Uh, a timestamp. You know, it's I don't know exactly how long we've been doing this now. It's been quite a few years. Uh, but I think the more years that I've been doing it, the more passionate I have become and the more time invested for sure. But
Yeah.
you and I will tell you, and I know you can agree with this. You can pick up a nitro or a basher and think you're into RC, but the moment that scale bug bites you, there is that whole next level. I
Oh yeah.
went to US I went to USTE the first year with Desmond and Brian
Mhm.
Almeida. Remember the Scale King? We took
Yep.
that trip 20 plus hours in the truck from Philly area down
Yep.
there, and I came to USTE not knowing what scale meant. These meatheads are just talking scale, dropping the
Yeah.
scale word. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? And the USTE is that moment that you can appreciate. Oh crap! Now I get it. Like
Yeah.
now I get it. I totally get it, and it can be simplified. Um, I was going to say it could be simplified as easy as if it would go on your one-to-one car, it would go on my RC car. Now it gets a little
Yep.
murky. It's not that smooth of a transition, But obviously, for a scale realism photo, that you're really getting resource photos from a one-to-one magazine or one-to-one social media platform. You're really taking, you watch somebody like Westmade,
Yeah, he
who
does
literally
crazy
has
shit.
printouts of one-to-one vehicles that he's
Yeah.
using as a resource. So it's all about trying to get that realism. That kind of opens up a doorway then for the scale hobby gives something to everyone. If you come to RC, the scale side, and you can't find something from photography to painting, modeling,
Yeah, that's true.
driving, so there's so many aspects to it.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that you're going to connect with, and
Yeah.
not going to be good at all of it, but there's got to be something. And the whole photography thing is really taking shape with social media,
Yeah.
TikTok
Instagram and
and
Facebook and
Instagram and all
TikTok.
that stuff.
Yeah.
You're really trying to find some kind of creative content, something that's eye catching, but it takes some getting used to. Now, iPhones or your cell phones today have made that so much easier, and
Oh
video
yeah.
or photo editing apps, and it's really made it easier, but it hasn't taken any of the fun away. That's for darn sure.
Hmm.
You're,
It's made it
you
more
know,
fun
and
because you don't have to screw
it's
around with it and everything comes out better.
exactly,
And
yes. And I still will tell people some of the best photos in my phone are the ones that I don't post all the time, but they're the ones of you catch somebody like yourself on your belly,
yeah.
laying down, trying to get, like, those candid shots are
Yeah.
priceless. Like, that's the kind of work that we have to put into this to get those really, really cool shots.
Got to keep it
Um,
scale.
yeah, yeah.
What's
So,
up, $2?
what I would tell you, Nick, is, I forgive me. I should probably have my I'm going to work on getting my backup computer here open so I can keep up with some of your questions also, and comments as they
Yeah,
come in. I
Reckless says
feel,
he's a big fan. He's heard you on that Scale RC show and RC Hangout and all that stuff. Loves the carry out
uh,
back.
oh, fantastic.
Dylan, come on, bro.
And I'm actually leading up to that because there is a big reason that I'm here tonight. I've been keeping it quiet. We'll work up to it. So the scale bug comes along and that really takes hold, and you can feel your shift into that next gear, and RC takes over, and
Yep.
it becomes this thing that you think about all the time. Me personally, it's my wife will wonder, why the heck are you so quiet? What are you thinking about? Is it another girl? Are you cheating on me?
Oh, it's
And
that
she really
classic
just
meme with
can't.
the dude in the chicken bed. I bet he's thinking about that chick from the
Yes.
restaurant. Shit. I wonder if this
Yes.
part's gonna be here in time.
It's so bright. It is so true. And you're really just fascinating and fantasizing about what method reels are you going to drop on this next build that you're working on, or what is
Yep.
the photo, or I'm sorry, what is that paint job, or there's so many things that go into a customized build, and it does it takes a lot of your attention, and it's
It
very
definitely can.
distracting. But it does keep me, as we joke around here about my mason jar full of literally water, because this is my 13th year of sobriety. And that's probably the timestamp that we're looking for, how long I've been doing RC. My sobriety, I owe to this hobby.
Yeah.
Can it stress you out and make you want to drink? Absolutely. This hobby could make you want to drink once in a while. But I think the hobby redirected my bad decisions that I would make, and kind of focused my energy, which I'm like a jackrabbit sometimes. I'm like all over the place. It's that,
Yeah.
you know, autistic,
ADD brain.
OCD, ADD brain. It's just, this is a great hobby for somebody that's got fidgety hands and a fast mind, and just, you need to keep busy. So
Yep.
the sobriety and was easier to do with this hobby. So I do have a lot to be thankful for. This hobby
It gave
has
you something else to
kind of
occupy your
introduced
time.
me. Yes. And you can't get sober hanging out with the same old crowd. I think the best
No.
way I could put it is you're not going to take an alcoholic and put him back in a bar. You know, you
Yeah.
need to change. You need
You
to
gotta change habits.
change your friends. Yes, and habits. Everything that you were doing before,
Yep.
you really want to change. So that kind of ties everything together nicely. So that was the path that I was on, and over the years of traveling and getting to meet people and know people, you begin this journey, and it starts to not always make sense. You don't know what's behind that next door, but
Yeah.
what I noticed was happening over the years, I was making connections and meeting people, but didn't really know what was happening. Eventually, you were probably one of the very first people I reached out to as the carry-all idea was coming forward
Yep.
and starting to take shape. We had a patent lawyer in the family, like a relative, a distant relative, took patent law. I'm like, who the hell takes patent law? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So all the kind of cards, I was holding all the cards at this point. Like, it just seemed like it was all making perfect sense. Thought I had all the pieces. I thought I knew I had everything I possibly needed, but you know, I was trying to do too much too fast. One of the things we talked about early on was, we open up carry-all and have a hobby shop on the front end, meaning have a hobby shop in the front door and run carry-all in the back door. You were very enlightening and had all the experience to be able to tell me, Mike, you need to really think about what you're saying and understand the investment that it takes financially, mentally, physically to run a hobby shop. That is not
Time
for
is a big
everyone.
one. Rob's asking if we're going to see you at BTC again. He says he's got another shirt for you to drive.
Oh, 100%. The BTC is one of those events that have landed in that top 5. When you talk to people, hobby shop owners, business owners, BTC is definitely in that top 5. It has to be. You know, people rattle off UST, Pearl Line by the Fire. Beat the Creek has become one of those must-attend events. And then if you get someone there with a Sherpa, and I mean, generous people there with a Sherpa, like literally forcing the controller in your hand, please break it, drive it. I want you to enjoy it. Those are the experiences that you're looking for, and meeting people like that let you enjoy. You know, I've never driven a Sherpa before, and I probably never will ever again. But an experience I'll never forget. So I'm very grateful. Very grateful for the good people of the RC community.
Juice box, Kentucky, baby.
Yes. Everything requires travel. Everything requires time management. And you can relate to this, Nick, that there is an event now every weekend. There is now 2, 3, 4 events every weekend. It is almost impossible to be able to attend everything that's happening all the time. There's so much overlap. And even if it's not the same weekend, say we're talking the following weekend, that is still incredibly hard
Oh yeah.
to take weekend after weekend. So I don't care if it's, even when they're landing in the same month, it just, it's hard. It's great to see the growth. But there are a lot of events
Well, I had to
happening
skip
all
Proline
over
this
the
year. There was
place.
3 or 4 events in September, and Proline was
Yes,
like a week after Vonats, and I'm like, I can't
you
afford the
had,
time or the money to go to Massachusetts and then to California, you know. So I was like, well, I got to
correct.
give one up. I
Yeah,
only
you
drive
had
vintage cars once a year, so Vonats it is.
I think the ASD crawler crew was doing their thing right around that timeline.
Yeah, they had something big in
And
September too
and
out there,
I
I think.
they had something going on. Maybe it might have been the week before, because I think, if I remember correctly, I think it might have been it was James Knight who made the trip, who landed the week prior, hung out with the guys at the ASD crawl, stayed the entire week, got to Berlin by the fire. It's great for somebody that needs to travel across the pond. Uh, when you stack events that close, it does work out once in a while, sure, but there's just no
Yeah.
way to bounce around. And like Nick, it's super cool to see the hobby grow. It is, but
Oh yeah.
you don't want to water it down either. Does it start to get watered down at some point? Can you have too many events? And I'm gonna say there's a reason why I'm saying that, and that is from a talking as a business owner. You get started with this product, sponsor our event, and it,
Mhm.
it's nonstop. At some point, you almost kind of, I don't want to become a Scrooge, but it's almost impossible to be able to support them all. And I know
Yeah.
RCH Orlando is a tremendous supporter of a lot of events. I mean, do you
Yeah.
have a guideline of what you can't support everyone? Do you have a way of what a metric for how you're going to say yes or no?
It's just about the right amount of people answer or ask me. Like I don't offer to sponsor an event. If you want me to sponsor it,
Okay,
you got to ask me. I'm not gonna reach out and be
okay,
like, "Hey, you want me to sponsor that?" You gotta be the big boy and send me an
yep,
email or call me. And they're like, "Hey, I'm doing this event. Give me the details, how many people, when it is, blah blah blah. Are you interested in sponsoring?" And then 99% of the time, I'm like, "Yeah, sure." If it's a smaller event, and it's gonna be 20 people, give them $100 worth of stuff, something like that.
okay.
If it's a bigger event with a ton of people, give a few things to give out, three, four, $500 worth of stuff. But I probably get asked to do like 10 or 12 a year, and that's about it. And that's feasible, you're talking one a month or less generally. So
Yeah, I know that you've always been a big supporter, and you do give back a lot, and it makes sense. It's great marketing for yourself, for RCH Orlando, to get the name out there. And you love to see it grow in your area. Where
yeah.
you're at, down south, you guys have taken off. You have your area has a pin in the map. With great builders, great terrain, great weather. It is a place to come to.
Yeah, Central Florida is one of the hubs in the nation of RC for sure. It's
It
big,
sure is.
especially for planes. Like planes here are like RC cars and trucks in SoCal. This is where the dudes that build turbine jet engines and own those companies, all that, they're all right here. The biggest jet
Okay.
events, plane events in the world are here. Guys travel from all over the world to come to them. Like with planes here, it's fucking crazy, man. But cars and trucks and everything and racing and all that's real big too. But planes is definitely the huge one.
Speaking of planes speaking of aliens and UFOs, I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. Have you
UFOs.
ever been able to? I said, speaking of aliens, I'm glad you brought that up. Uh, Speaking of flying, all seriousness, have you been able to witness a space shuttle launch? Being there in Florida, were you able to ever
I
make
never
a trip
watched
to?
any of the shuttles. I missed those.
Okay,
Um, but
all
I've
right.
watched so many. SpaceX rockets go up now that I don't even give a shit when they're launching a rocket. I'm like, oh, another rocket's going up. Big deal. Happens every week. The night launches are cool. I'll
No
usually,
kidding.
if I know there's a night launch and I'm up and it's
Wow.
like midnight and it's a nice dark night, because I just walk out my front door and
Yep.
I want to go up. But the daytime ones,
Where
I don't even care. When I first moved down here, it would blow my mind. Like I'd be driving home and see the smoke trail and be like, whoa. But you know, like anything, you get jaded to it. It happens every week now. So it's like, all right, they launched some more shit. Okay.
that is super cool. I didn't even connect the dots. I had no idea that SpaceX was even launching them around you. So
Oh yeah,
that
they
is
launch
super
everything
duper
out of
cool.
Cape Canaveral too. Once in a
That is
blue
super
moon,
duper
what's
cool.
really cool is the boosters land themselves now.
Yes.
And I've only gotten to see it twice at night, but twice at night the wind was right and they came down right and everything that I actually got to see that thing flame back up and square up and slow down and come down. And it was the weirdest looking
Wow.
shit, man. I was like, God, that looks like I'm watching it in reverse, you know? It was crazy.
Right.
Now, obviously, I can't see
Uh,
them land and stuff because there's buildings and trees and
sure.
it's 50 miles away, but I can see it till it's probably, quarter mile in the air still.
That is super duper cool. Um, dude, it just goes to show you with driving cars and rockets that are reusable and landing
Yeah.
themselves, the technology and what is happening. I do not want to get political on you or get into any of that rabbit hole stuff, but I do need to mention one thing about technology. In Israel, have you been able to see this Iron Dome work? And do you
Oh,
know what
yeah, I
the
remember
Iron
watching it
Dome
work
is?
like 6 years ago when they were having a little war, as they do every 5 years or so over there. And it's crazy just to
Yes,
watch like all
yes,
these rockets
yes.
get blown up and like, okay, that's nuts.
It's nuts. It's literally
Yeah,
like a firework display over your head. But the problem is, if any of them get past, I mean, it's
you
your
might die.
life or death. I mean,
Yeah,
that firework gets by, you're gonna get blown up. It's
yeah.
scary. But
Well, then you still got bullshit
Israel
falling
has
out of the
some
sky.
wicked right. There has to be some sort of debris
All the
that has
debris.
to be coming down. I mean, it's being
Yeah,
blown into pieces.
yeah,
Yes, but still super duper cool. Um, I've been watching some of the YouTube reels popping up. There has been some flexing of some newer technology now. They've been showing off some of these lasers that they're using. So if they're going to knock down a rocket, they're literally shooting laser beams at them and using them to blow them up instead of shooting a rocket. Take a
yeah.
laser to
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. And that's just
super
what
cool
they let
stuff
you know
happening.
about.
Right. Um, yeah, so Israel's been doing cool stuff with the Iron Dome, the drones. They have pushed a lot of technology and they've been cutting edge for a long time, which I didn't realize that they were. I didn't know that they were doing all this stuff. I literally thought that the United States built the Iron Dome for them,
Yeah,
and I got taken to school and realized I was wrong. Like they designed this, they got the resources, the manpower, the brains,
yeah.
and they pulled it off. So very cool. It is a tragedy what is happening over there. It's super sad to see all the loss and devastation and heartache. But we'll leave it at that. This was we're gonna keep this upbeat and we're gonna keep it RC.
Yep.
So Nick, I was probably boy, I'm trying to think about the time frame. You actually have one of the first carry-all backpacks that we ever did.
Yeah, it was me
You
and
were a
Jeremy
part of the
Kilburn.
early marketing. You and Jeremy literally have like one and two
Yeah.
back from the early day. Was it a USTE event that you guys
Yeah.
had
It
them
was
at?
UST when you first came out with them.
Was it the second or third USTE now? That I'm trying to remember
I think it
which
was the
year.
third.
Third. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a weird time frame. I mean, we're talking right around COVID starting. It was a weird time. What happened? Are you reading a comment? You just started
Yeah,
busting out
juice
laughing.
box. Nick, have my baby. Oh, but yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
um, so it was a weird time, probably early 2019-ish, I guess. You were,
Yeah, it
a
probably
part
was
of
around
that.
then.
You know, I got to thank you, behind all of that hair and that low key facade and carefree attitude that you have, Nick, you actually do have some brains. People should
I
never
try.
underestimate how smart you actually are. Hey, you pull it off. You make yourself look like a stoner, but you actually do got some brains. You are a good businessman, and you were able to help me understand a little bit about setting pricing. How does markups and discounts and all the ins and outs of things I had no idea about. When I explained to my wife quitting my daily job to gamble our life savings away on an idea, she looked at me like I had two heads. You must, what you
Yeah,
been
it must have been a
drinking?
fun conversation.
Yeah, you must be high, boy. You go out that room and come back in here correct. So it was something that I couldn't do alone. You needed to build a pipeline of people that you could call upon for help, resources, things like that. Uh, so if you fast forward now, we're into this 3 or 4 years of in a weird time where you're trying to start a business during COVID.
Yeah.
Um, it was a different time. There were businesses surging. I just assumed this is just how business was. I thought, oh, this is a cakewalk. This is gravy. Everybody's buying everything. Life is great. Well, no,
Cheap checks.
across the board there was a surge. Yes,
Yeah.
it was a different time. Um,
Mm.
so was it? I almost thought for a minute, Nick, that it was the wrong time to start Carryall, but it turns out it wasn't. The backpack and RC had a place during our quarantine and those almost there was a lot of solitude there where you would
Yeah,
just
you
kind of
just
go out on a trail by yourself,
pack your pack, throw a truck on,
grab
and
a
go hit the
truck and
trail.
go. Yes. Yep. So the hobby did have some growth during COVID. There is no question. I think the hobby exploded with new people. New brands came along. We had new people come to the hobby. We had new products being developed. It was still a great time to be a part of RC.
Aside
Uh,
from supply.
now,
Supply
yes.
issues
Yeah.
suck.
Well, yes. Yes. Okay. It wasn't all great. There was definitely some definite issues with the supply chain. That is
I could have
a
sold four
memory I
times
don't
more shit if
like
I'd
to
have been
remember
able
how
to
bad
get it.
that was.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good point. You almost forget about how hard that was. There were a lot of empty shelves at that point. Things were being bought up and it was hard to get
Yep.
restock.
Yep.
And that is a fact. Um,
I still have my first bag. I
so
use it. I
what we
travel with it
did
everywhere.
after that, I know. Well, it's interesting that you bring that first bag up, and people will ask sometimes about why a V2. Why did we transition away
Yeah.
from that first backpack? That first backpack was the right size. The backpack, that first backpack had side pockets. That first backpack had this. I hear it all the time about the
Oh, I
first
can
backpack.
imagine. Yeah.
So, like, I looked at Apple, for example, and what are we on now? iPhone 15. Every year they're
Yeah.
coming out with something new. They're brands. I'm not going to go here and name bash or give a plug. I'm not gonna plug any brands right now. You know, it's not worth supporting anybody. Have you had this Prime Energy? Good stuff. Um, but people are on there. You watch companies develop second generation, third generation, fourth generation evolution of a brand. I think a company is failing if you don't evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to make changes and adapt for whatever reason. The original backpack that we started with got discontinued right underneath our feet, literally pulled the rug out from underneath us, and it
Yeah.
was discontinued. So we lost access to this. We had to
Yeah.
go back to the drawing, and that wasn't our, kind of out of our hands,
Yeah.
but it did push us to go back to the early drawing board of what we always wanted to do, was to manufacture our own backpack. We wanted to develop a bag to our specifications and develop a bag for the RC community our way. We didn't do that out of the gate. We took a different path, got discontinued. Instead of giving up, we dug our heels in and we decided to invest more money into the company and go that direction by manufacturing our own backpack. That took time. And that's how we came to this whole V2 world. We walk around talking about the version 2 backpack. And we
Speaking of
ran with
devil,
that
it's Kilburn. He's in.
for,
What's up,
over
Jeremy?
2+. Oh, Jeremy's here. My brother from another, the man behind the curtain. We couldn't do it without number one and number two. Jeremy Kilburn from day one, and continues to be a huge ally, a resource, a shoulder to cry on those hard days. Sergeant Major is one of the guys that Ariel would not be here today if it wasn't for some of his wisdom and insight and level-headed thinking. I tend to be irrational sometimes. I tend to shoot from the hip and run. I wear my heart on the sleeve, and I run this business with a lot of emotion. And you need somebody like Sergeant Major to come along and be like, nope, the ones and the zeros and ones. This is a business, and it's get the emotion out of it.
Yep.
And
Precisely.
you need people to remind you of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where we got to with the V2, we looked around to see what other people were using. What were RC enthusiasts using at Line by the Fire or different events? What type of backpack were they carrying? Because why? The problem with a backpack is you're trying to find a bag that checks enough boxes to solve enough problems for enough people. And backpacks are a lot like hats. And meaning, when it comes to men and their hats or their backpacks, there is a reason we have 5 or 6 of them hanging up, because everybody wants something different. Some guys want flap rims, snapback hats. Everybody has a preference. A backpack's the same way. You're different. You're tall, and I'm short, fun size. Like, you have different body types, and for different uses, it's hard to find a bag that's going to check enough boxes. We thought that we got to that point. We just celebrated last month our 3,000th backpack sold last month.
Nice.
If you would have asked me, well, thank you. If you would have asked me, when we first started, would we ever hit numbers like 3,000? No, I never would have expected that it would have taken off so well and been so much fun. It brought us to an interesting position. There was a massive surge this past year. Product was moving at a pace we weren't prepared for different reasons. There's many factors that make things go up and down and be successful. And I'm not sure if I can sit here and tell you the exact reason why things happened. They did. But what I can tell you was there was a surge. It's been successful. But we also found a need for this next round of bags that are on their way to us to make some changes. So our new bag, we are not going to call it a V3. This is going to be a tactical RC
Okay.
gear. We are going to embrace the branding and use the verbiage. This will be a tactical bag.
Yeah.
The footprint is still the same. If you would take a glance at this bag from behind in a hurry, it still has that same rucksack V2 feel, but we
Yeah.
were able to get it down closer to the size of the V1 bag. And
Yeah.
literally, if you want to talk numbers, the first backpack was a 29-liter bag. The V2 was a 45-liter 3-day bag.
Hmm.
And this now falls in line right in the middle. We cut it in half. We got ourselves a 35-liter bag, narrows it down a couple inches
Yeah.
on each side, um, compresses it a little bit. But we were able to then bring some of those cool features that people loved in the V1. We've got side pockets now. On each side of the bag, we have side compartment pockets that you can access in a
I
hurry.
use mine all the time.
But
Yep.
yes, and to be able to reach just behind you without having to take the backpack off and just pull something out, a battery, a
Yep.
water bottle, whatever you want to stash in your pockets. I'm not going to tell you all the things and crazy stories of things that I hear people put in their pockets. But to be able to start to work those little key features, and then we were able to focus on the quality control. We upgraded the things that people don't even think about, like the upper carrying handle, the handle that you
Yep.
get. Now this has a hard rubber coating, stiff handle. When you pick up the bag, it's one of those first things you feel like, oh, this doesn't feel like a normal backpack. This handle is different. And you start to
Yeah.
feel the quality and those little attention to detail. That's what we focused on, the zipper pulls. The V2 literally used like a string that they wove
Mhm.
through there and tied into a knot. And then it
Yep.
was that simple. Now, what we did with the V2 was we had a black backpack with gray zipper pulls, and the zipper pulls were done in gray for a reason, so that they were supposed to stand out and you'd be able to
Mhm.
find them a little bit easier. But now we were able to upgrade the zipper pull with a hard plastic tab on the zipper pull. Again, when you feel the bag and you grab a hold of the zipper, you're like, oh, wow. Really spent time with
Yeah.
focusing on the quality.
Nice.
So we have a
Juicebox is already
ton,
clamoring to see
ton.
the bag.
I bet. It took us this long. It's been honestly, the last 5 months of back and forth, making changes back and forth. And what really hurts in these last 5 months, Nick, you can appreciate this, when you're working overseas and dealing with somebody like in China. The time difference sucks. They're
Hmm.
coming online as I'm passing out. And that means now I've got to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to start engaging in these conversations. And your work,
Yep.
if I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to start engaging in emails and conversing with them back and forth on whatever the topic of the day is, literally I'm working 18-hour days. If I'm not past, like this morning, I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll stay on with you tonight till who knows how late. Again,
Hmm.
it's a long ass day, and you start to
Oh,
burn
yeah.
the candle from both ends. It
Well, you got
is
to start Da
a
Vinci sleeping at that point. When you sleep 3 hours here and work for a while, sleep 3, 4 hours there. And that's what I do on days like that. I still get my 7, 8,
a
9 hours. I just do it in 2 or 3
okay.
segments. Makes a big difference.
No kidding. Okay. No, did you call it Da Vinci sleeping?
Yeah, because that's how I used to
Did
sleep. He would sleep 2-3 hours at a time and then get up and do stuff and whatnot and go sleep 2-3 hours again, get up and do stuff.
Okay.
He can go sleep 6, 8, 10 hours.
Thank you for my Snapple fun fact. I will
There you
pocket
go.
that one and remember it. Thank you. Yeah, so the long and short of it, I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to bring some photos or release some early images of it, but I'm not in a position right now to spill the beans in any way beyond just kind of leaving you some teasers and, just sort of telling you what some of the key features that are coming.
Okay.
That we'll leave it there. But let's do some fun show and tell, Nick.
Yeah.
3D printing has taken off, literally, like 3D printing. And I mean, how many people have you seen flexing their new bamboo printer?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't
I
get
think,
into it that much, but I have shit tons of friends who do it. So that's why I don't worry about getting into it.
right?
Like, if I need it, I can just buy it off someone or someone will make it for me and I'm golden. Uh-oh. Did you freeze? There you are.
That is the best way to do it. That's
I know there's a lot of
it
work and
froze up
time
for
and
a second.
experience and knowledge that comes into being a good 3D printer, and I just don't have the time for that shit.
Sure. No, I agree with you 100%. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But 3D printers have come a long way, and they have only gotten better with time, and they've gotten faster. So it left me in a it left me starting to now explore new things that I wouldn't have printed before, tinkering around with some of Harley Designs files that he's been working on for a long time, little interior roll cages that he's been doing. And then obviously Knights Customs has been doing some stuff. So I have, I found this little cool setup, a roll cage, drivers. This one's a little hard to see because of the lighting. Hang on, I have a good one here. This one here, this one I just did for the Utron. If I can hold it up in the light just a little bit, driver. This will pop right in the new Element Utron, real simple, a Knights Customs file. So I've been getting crazy and freaky with the 3D printer. But what I discovered are cool things on Amazon that you don't always notice, that you don't notice all the time. But these are tech tips that you want to share with people. These are Q-tips that you can find on Amazon with a point. If I get in the lighting, literally comes to a point, and it's a hard tip. So I'm not going to tell you all the uses that I found for them, but dude, you can find these cool little Q-tips for pressing down decals or cleaning up paint. There are a million uses for them, but I'm always looking for fun little new gadgets and things to use out there. And this was one I had to share. People, if you don't know these Q-tips exist, this little pointed Q-tip with a hard bamboo stick is very freaking useful. If you are a DIY kind of model maker looking for those little gadget tools, very cool.
Yeah. Reckless, there's nothing on here right now. There's no breaker on. It's just the quick connect. All the implements are at the shop. And Jeremy says, Eddie says, what's this 3D printing you speak of? He doesn't know. Yes, Dylan is a full-time gig. Literally. Oh, and Eddie's wants to know, can you print a Matt K face as 1-to-1 hockey mask? Asking for a friend.
Does he? He wants the Matty Cat face done? Yeah. With a hockey mask on it?
Yeah. And Mark Pennington says he's familiar with those Q-tips. He said he's like, said they're great for the water slide decals.
Yes. I'm telling you, you start to find uses for these things. I never knew they even existed. Stumbled across them. I actually stumbled across them did you ever watch the TV show Mythbusters before?
Yep.
Mythbusters.
Yep.
Adam
Savage.
Savage, I think his name is. He
Jamie, I
runs
can't
a.
remember his last name.
Yep, Savage runs a. Yeah. Jamie. Oh shoot, he talks about him all the time. But Adam Savage runs a great YouTube channel. And if you are a modeler, a geeky scale guy, this guy, Adam Savage, is running super cool 1 day builds where he's got toys and a team full of people helping him. He's doing some extreme
Oh yeah, he's been doing this for a
projects.
living for a long time.
Correct. I there's no way you're going to make all the crap that he's making, but what he does do is stop and share the corny little things that he's working on. For example, he went and did a whole episode on CA glue. It was like a 15-minute episode on CA glue, different types of it, the consistencies. And then he starts sharing like your accelerators that are out there to,
accelerators are where it's at.
Correct. And they've been out there for a long time, but they're not cheap. Well, I found another. It comes in bigger bottles. There's accelerators out there you can get in large cans.
We sell those.
You do? Okay. Yeah. Well, to be able, that's super smart. Good for you. To be able to walk into a hobby shop like that and be able to get this kind of stuff, that's what you're looking for. And it's not easy for
we got little squirt bottles, big squirt bottles, and then the bigger aerosol bottles.
Perfect. Because a modeler wants to come into your hobby shop, and it makes sense like to buy paint in a hobby shop, because now you're not buying paint on a computer screen. It sucks. Like, is the color right? Is this the right consistency? There's nothing better than walking into a hobby shop and being able to hold it in your hand and feel it and read it and like, oh, this is what I want. And don't get me wrong, you end up with crap that you don't need. Every time I go into a hobby shop, I still have this. I have this finished resin that I bought the last hobby shop run. I still haven't opened it and don't even know what the hell I'll use it for. But it's here if I ever need it.
You'll use it eventually. You'll find use for it.
Exactly. There'll be something. There's going to be a time, and I'm like, I got it. So that is the experience of going into a hobby shop. People need to never forget that. It is like it's like a Toys R Us experience. The people that will never be able to have that Toys R Us experience that we had when you were a kid, when you can walk in those places and hold the stuff and play with it and ask questions. You can't beat a hobby shop. And that's why we always try to remind people how important it is to support the ones that support us. We all have gotten spoiled by the world of Amazon and that next day, same day shipping BS. But Amazon isn't going to be able to fix that broken RC car for you. Amazon's not always going to be able to do a Sunday repair or there's a million things that you can get out of a hobby shop that you just can't find online. For sure. We appreciate everything that you hobby shop owners are doing. And believe me, I understand the huge investment of time and financially, and I don't envy you. I couldn't imagine. You make it look easy. You do. You make it look easy.
Experience
we all know it's
goes
not.
A long ways. That's the key to a lot.
Okay.
Well, I've been at this a long time, and I've worked in similar businesses before, and so it's a lot easier for me than it is for most, I think.
Okay. And so that might be the simple answer, but when you go to USTE and you see the spread that you can bring, I mean, you come in there flexing with the product display, the amount of inventory. It's impressive. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, we would just clean out the shop of everything scale. Did we let people know for like the week before, hey,
If
if
you
you want something now, you got to get it now. Otherwise, it's getting packed up and it's gone till like Tuesday.
give that, yeah. So you try and almost pre-order it for them in a way. If you know there's something you're gonna want, let me know now so I can get it here.
Yeah, people would hit me up and be like, "Hey, I need this at USD. Can you get it?" And the smart ones would do it like a month
Nice.
or 3 weeks beforehand because lots of times things are on back order. And then some people would
Yep.
try and do it like 2 days before, and I'm like, "Nah, bro, I won't even be here. Sorry, you're out of luck."
Well, listen, I'm don't want to keep talking about myself all night long. You gave me a platform to be able to kind of drop a little bombshell teaser here and shake things up and tell you that there is a tactical bag. We are going back we're going backwards in time and embracing the V1. We're going to bring more of the V1 back into this new tactical bag. So I think we are super excited for 2024. I think it's going to be an exciting year. We
You
have a
know when it's
couple
coming
other
out?
little things early 2024, end of this year. They will be here probably.
Okay, so
They're
January
coming on
probably
they're
sometime.
coming on an ocean freighter, so
Yep,
on an ocean freighter and sitting in customs.
yep.
I've become used to these 90-day turnaround times.
Oh
It's
no,
just
it's weeks.
it's the world we live in.
Yep.
Weeks, yes. So the only other thing that we do in these situations is we do air express a portion of the order over. We've fractioned it up
Yep.
and quartered off a section of the order and had them air express a section of it. So that's enough to hold us over for a little bit, enough
Yeah.
for us to wet the pallets, get people excited, and then when the next round gets here, we'll be set up. And that's been the formula that we've been doing probably for the last 2 years. It's working.
Well,
But,
I'll tell you a
but that you,
secret. That's what all the
yes,
big guys do too.
well, yes,
That's
I and
what
I don't,
Associated Horizon,
yeah,
Traxxas,
all of them.
all these
And
guys, they come out with something, they air freight a certain amount, a little
yep,
shipment for the people that pre-ordered right away and stuff basically is
yep.
it. And that's all right, now you
And
gotta wait a
then
week
their
to a month
shelves
or
are
whatever
empty.
for the rest.
It's so true. And it took me a while to catch on to it, to understand what was happening. You'd see social media on Tuesday light up with all the people in these early releases and their marketing and excitement. And you go to order and there's nothing on the website coming soon. And
Yeah.
you find out now they're weeks out. But yes, that's why they got
Uh,
25 of them in for a few people, for a few of those social media influencers out there to get crazy and market it
yeah.
and get people jealous. And then, yeah, then they follow up. So, yes, it is a page
Eddie's
that
asked me
many
something. He's like,
people play off
did
of.
anyone see the clear RC10? Yeah. And he said, how many times did you get tagged on those posts, Nick? Thankfully, I didn't get tagged too much. I did get a lot of messages. But I think what helped on the tagging too was posting it on the RCJesus page, because then all the comments and shit just went there and it was much easier to deal with. But that was a long fucking day. That was a long fucking day of messages right there. It was
The
fun, but it was constant. Did you see this?
I
Did you
bet.
see this? I'm like, yes, yes, I'm aware it exists. I know.
So, was it built for SEMA of this year? Did they just finish this thing, or have they had it around for a while?
The what? Are you talking about the one-to-one?
The one-to-one
They
RC10
finished the
that they had
one-to-one, I
down
think,
there,
on
the
Friday
one-to-one.
before SEMA.
Wow.
Yeah, typical SEMA build. It was done last minute, as far as I know. I
Yeah,
remember I was getting
right.
pictures and shit, parts coming in and stuff like this is gonna be dope. And they're like, yeah, what's the built? So
A
they
typical
put a
SEMA
lot of
build.
work in a typical SEMA fashion, and it's dope. It runs and drives and everything. If you got people
Wow.
complaining, oh, it's not the exact same length hood and all this and whatnot. I'm like, Dude, it's a real fucking RC10 that's like that close from being right on. Like, give me a break. Jesus. But you know, that's the internet.
Good for them. I mean,
No,
that is
Mark, I did not know about the clear RC10 or the 1-to-1 for several months at all. And
that
that's what
is
sucked when they first teased it, Jeremy. That was the worst because they tease it. We're doing 1 for SEMA, then we're doing 10. Everyone's like, they can come out with it. What's going on? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Finally, they said, I'm like, all right, good. It's done. It's over. No more questions about coming. Yeah, it runs, Jeremy. It runs and drives. You can't go to Baja with it, but you can drive around in it and put around.
move it around.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so freaking cool. I love it.
Yeah.
What I do love even more is your passion for 14th scale dump trucks and
So I
backhoes
said I
and
was going to be working on this,
excavators.
but then we got the bullshitting. But I can still show everybody what's going on and shit.
What the hell is it?
I started getting into it after the last show because I fucked up and didn't look at pictures of how all this mounted. I couldn't figure these lights out because the lights. I guess I can show everyone now. They mount. It wasn't obvious, right? But they mount in that slot there with that hole. That I was like, oh, is this to capture the LED? So these mounts on the bottom are for nothing. So that's what was messing with me because I thought I had to use these, but instead I screwed down and then it pinches on. And then this part's easy. And this little wire retainer is going to go right on this side. And it'll let the wires run neat and nice and up and be nice and easy. And then I got into the guts of it and stuff. Damn it, Dylan. So much work, dog. Let's see. I don't want to lift this thing up because it's a pain in the ass, but I have all kinds of cables attached here. So we'll see. Like these things are pretty easy to work on. Like all this was to take off. It was sitting like that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 screws. And it's as simple as pulls up. You do have some hoses and shit. I don't know if I can get you to see under there hooked up that you have to be careful with. And set it there so I don't lose all my screws. And then the guts are nice and open, man. Like they're not hard to work on, really. There's aspects of them that can be a pain in the ass. And so, like, now that I have you up this, well, I dropped it down in there. But the wire clamp thing will mount right there. So I got to get in here, back in there, and get the planetaries and stuff out. But I got to knock the tracks out. That's some pins and stuff. So, I mean, I love that shit. It spoils you. It's the best part is sharing it with everybody. I love taking it events like the big dump truck and letting people ride in it or letting people run these things. Because you just watch everyone turn into a 5-year-old kid again, right? They literally just and they'll sit there for hours and not even know any time went by. And it's really doesn't make any sense how much fun it is to get, you know, even just 2 or 3 pieces of equipment together, let alone if you're lucky enough to be in an event with like 10, 15, 200, like Cabin Fever, and get on a job site and start digging ditches and trenches and roads and making bridges and tearing doll houses down and all this kind of shit. It's you can lose a whole 10, 12-hour day to it and not even be mad. You're gonna be like, oh damn, we have to stop. And that's why I love it. And the prices on it really aren't that bad anymore. A lot of this stuff is from $1,500 to $3,000. And people put like $1,500 to $2,500 in the scale crawlers and shit all the time.
Right.
Now you're doing it, you know, usually people don't buy all the shit at once. They spread it out over weeks or months. And whereas this is, yeah, you just gotta go, ouch. But then you're done. Like these things get tons of time on them. I let all kinds of people drive them. And I hardly ever have to work on them or spend money on them. You know, a motor here, this there, you know, $10 here, $50 there, $25 there. It's not bad. It would suck if when you had to do maintenance, it was like, oh shit, okay, now I gotta put $500 in this thing. That would make it a different story. Right. But that's not the case. You put all the money in up front, as long as you take care of it, you're putting 10 to 50 bucks in it at a time, generally. And that's after 100, 200
You
hours.
can live with that.
You know,
get your tire? Stop annoying me, please.
this dag.
Now, something like
Oh, yeah.
that, when you're all working together and have something like a
Yep.
cabin fever, and one person moving dirt in this direction, you're coming this way. Some of those things I've seen online in China.
Yeah.
They have
And
little
Italy,
cities
Germany,
working
stuff
out,
too.
tractor trailers bringing stuff in.
Yep. Yeah, like you get the articulating dump truck up and you're all wrong and you flip it on its side. You don't pick that thing up. You call the excavator or something over to come over and push it over just like you would in real life, you know?
I love it.
Yep.
The new little hobby that I picked up here, something that I've dabbled with before, but I've tried to up my game a little bit. And this can get very expensive, but I've really gotten hooked on the photography side of the hobby. Spending time taking those photos, trying to get that video content. Well, I thought it was time to explore the world of these drones. I've had a 3-axis gimbal before with the Traxxas Aton. When that thing came out, you strap your GoPro to the front of it, but it's a big drone to be taken along. Do you remember the Aton? That big one. It was a big drone.
Yeah.
So I went a little smaller. With it's a it's a Mavic knockoff. It would be equivalent to the Mavic Pro. It's a no-name. It's a knockoff brand, but it's a 4K camera with a 3-axis gimbal, 5G GPS, obstacle avoidance. It's got all the bells and whistles built into it to make you look like an expert flyer right out of the box. Yeah, I mean, these things,
so simple.
They're like, yeah, dude, it's like a Tesla out of the box. I mean, they literally have follow me built into the drone app right out of the box. You press your face and it walks behind you. So that was what I was looking for, was kind of, it's hard sometimes to find a cameraman. And then you don't always want to pause for that content. So I'm hoping that this game plan works, that I'm going to be able to use this drone sort of as a second pair of hands. Let it set up in the air. You might have to fly a little bit other, check on the camera once in a while.
Around you, or
you're setting waypoints. Yes, exactly.
You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with them.
Well, I mean, for somebody that's into jogging or bicycling, they are literally just setting these things and letting them, fly. We're not moving at that kind of speed out on the trail, but to have the obstacle
fly way faster than anyone can move.
Right, that's true. I mean, I'm hoping that this might be a step in the right direction to try and dress up some of that video content that has become so powerful. The days of still photo images are like a dinosaur on social media. Nobody wants still images anymore. Everything is moved to reels and video content. And the world of YouTube, I was a late bloomer when it came to the world of YouTube and didn't realize what a wicked powerful platform it is for marketing, or even as a resource for, when you want to get a product review on something, you need to do a repair. I'm telling you, the first thing I do anymore, go right to YouTube.
Yeah.
It is a wicked powerful platform.
You're hard pressed not to find what you're looking for either. Like, you have to be looking for something pretty abstract not to find 3-4 different good videos on it.
And then you think that you can stump YouTube and you're going to look for something that there's nobody out there doing. And then you come across somebody like Addy's RC's YouTube channel, and it's already up there. He's already put leaf springs on trucks that shouldn't have leaf springs and done things and molested things, done things, X-rated things to trucks that shouldn't have been done before. So yeah, you're going to be hard pressed to not find it. Somebody like
I don't
Jeremy's
know,
out there
Jeremy.
breaking
If
YouTube.
I can hold this, I might rather have it on my back carrying 70 pounds than heaving it around like this for 50. That would be interesting.
Is it really? How much does it weigh for real?
60, 70 pounds.
How much? No way.
I think it might be like 72 or 76 or something like that.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they're not light.
Wow.
That's why some people are like, oh man, why can't we have like 10th scale equipment? And I'm like, well, this barely fits on the bench comfortably to work on as it is. And it's going to be like 110 pounds, 120 pounds. And that becomes a lot of people just physically can't move something like that. They can struggle with 70 pounds and get it, but they can't do anymore. Like the dump truck, when I lift that out, I would like, all right, dude, who's like a real man with no back problems?
Yes.
We're reaching in the front and the back. We're each lifting up about 130 pounds or 140 pounds a piece.
Wow.
So. And it's awkward, right? Because you got to bend over the crate and lay down and lift up. So you got to know how to lift right.
Wow. I thought the SCX6 coming along was a step in the wrong direction and too big. But I mean, where they turn, they're under 30 pounds, I think. They're not even an SCX6 sounds like, light all of a sudden.
I think.
Yeah.
Then you
makes
like
it sound
Sergeant Majors, it's like 40 pounds because it's all aluminum out with big motor and batteries. But that one is fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait and get a punch to take these tracks off, but oh well.
Yeah.
Again, I lied to everybody. I guess I'm not getting much stuff. What's that?
I've got a V plow, a big SCX6 V plow that I'm dropping on that beast this year. I'm hoping that we get some snow this winter. We got skunked last year. We didn't really have much of a winter up here at all.
Yeah, we don't really get shit at the farm in Michigan anymore either, like when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's you just don't know what Mother Nature's going to throw at you anymore. It's always hit and miss anymore. It's so fingers crossed that we're going to get ourselves a little bit of snow this year. We'll have a chance to mess around with that. That will be fun. It's got the FPV camera.
Oh hell yeah, that will
dash
be awesome.
mounted camera. I can put my FPV goggles on and just kind of sit from inside and let it rip. That is the game plan.
Yeah, I've got one for my Ascender in Michigan. So if we get like a half inch of snow, and I put tracks on that. We had the RC 4-wheel drive track kit in stock for like 4 years, and I was like, well, I guess these are mine. So I just took them. I'm like, I'll go put them on the Ascender, and it'll be a snow rig for when we're up there every year on Christmas break, so the kiddo can play in the snow.
Oh, that's awesome.
If we get snow.
I tried a couple of things. The one year on my Traxxas Bandit, I had the sand paddle tires with the Traxxas skis that you could get, those little tiny skis on your Bandit.
Yeah, I remember those.
What a disaster that was, because the Brushes Bandit was just a wheelie machine. It was impossible to keep those skis down and actually be able to steer it. So that kind of backfired. That didn't work. Then I did the 10th scale V plow. I messed around with that for a couple of years, and that's always been fun. But I think messing around with the 10th scale version, I mean, it's fun. It's a toy. You get out there, move some stuff around. But when you get to the 6th scale stuff, this actually is turning into a sidewalk clearing device.
It's big enough with enough weight.
It's a snowblower. Yeah, it's a plow. There's enough weight. So we'll see. At the end of the day, it's still a toy. You still have to break out the shovel and clear some of the walks. I know it's not going to be It's not going to be a cure-all. It's still a toy at the end of the day. I know.
Yeah. But it's way more fun to
Like-
do it that way.
Exactly. Exactly. No, all good stuff. Can you believe that we are sitting here on November 2nd? So this is No Shave November. That means 1 year ago, this day, 1 year ago, I started growing a beard. It was last November
Yeah, because you
that I
have the
partaked in
goatee.
the whole. Yep, it was just a little goatee, and then I let the whole beard thing go, and to get behind the whole No Shave November thing. And I thought I was just going to do it for that 1 month. Then the closer we got to November of this year, I'm like, might as well just let it go now. Kind of let it go to the end of the month and see what happens.
Yep.
But I wanted to say, Nick, I can't believe that we are literally talking here at the end of another year. I want to know where the heck 2023 went. I mean, to me, it just
They go faster
feels
every
like
year.
another year that flashed by. They do. Year after year, it just continues to seem like it goes faster and faster.
Oh,
Yeah,
by the time
November will
80,
fly
if
by.
we
We'll
make it
be
that
at
long, they're going to
Thanksgiving
go
dinner
by in
with.
literally the blink of an eye.
What went in that blink of an eye?
I said by the time we're 80, if we make it that long, they're literally going to go by in the
Sure.
blink of an eye.
Seriously, yeah. I don't think you need to be worrying about me making it to 80. I promise you that. I don't think I have it in me.
You never know.
Turning the big 50 this year, and you never know, I guess. You got to remain optimistic and stay in the good fight. We're going to give it our
Yep.
best shot. But yeah,
Attitude is
we'll have to
everything.
see. I attitude is everything. But yeah, I
Write
just
that
had
down.
to. It is. You get the tattoo. Desmond will tattoo it on you for you. Attitude is everything. But yeah, I just can't believe we're at the end of another year. With you and your show, I really am bummed out that Scale Audio could not join us tonight. He
Yeah,
is.
he needs to be a good
I
man
did.
and help out at the school.
Yeah, he's gotta. I'm bummed out we missed him. I hope to catch up with him again soon. Yeah, he's doing great things and cool stuff.
He makes awesome stuff.
I'm always a big. He does. I'm a big fan of audio in an RC car.
Yep.
I'm that guy.
I miss Tommy. He was asking what he missed, but it looks like Mark got him pretty well filled in here. Yeah, Mark got him pretty well filled in. Oh yeah, are you retired in January, Jeremy? He says he starts his beard in January. Scale snowblower powered by
Right?
cast motor. Who's up for the challenge? I've seen that done before, a couple, 2-3 times. The scale snowblowers, they're badass.
Yeah, they are.
Look very
It's a
dangerous
big 3D
if it
Yes.
were to, you work on having to turn on.
But it is the way to go, though. Like, because a snowplow, at some point, you're just pushing the snow. At some point, it gets harder and harder to push. If you got that blower and you're actually moving it out of your way, you're achieving the goal.
Yep.
A snowblower is definitely the way to go.
And the ones I've seen, they power them up enough that they throw that snow a long ways.
They do. I know. But yes, how about at ease? How about Sergeant Major Jeremy Kilburn retiring? That is
yeah.
The RC community better buckle up.
12/31/23, eh?
When you let that man off his leash and give him some more time to go crazy, it's been batshit crazy the stuff that man has done with a full-time job serving our and keeping us safe. Yep. I'm a little nervous to see what he can what that evil mind of his can come up with some free time. But I wanted to thank you and tell you it was an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait. You will be the very first one I reach out to the moment we get this new round of bags
Sweet.
in. Maybe I'll come back here again. We'll sit down. We'll show them off. We'll actually have some real show and tell, and
Oh yeah.
we'll show them off. We'll get one sent out to you guys down there in RCH Orlando. We'll get you a display down there
Yeah,
right
and if anyone
away.
wants a V1, I think I still have one
But
or two.
my cell phone is dying, and I wanted to
Okay.
say farewell to you before it gets any worse.
Yep.
But I just wanted to thank you, Jesus, for a
No
night
problem. Thanks for
making
coming
me
on,
right.
man.
I wanted a place to come and confess my sins and get myself right with Jesus. And
Do yourself cleanse.
yes, I needed a cleansing here. But yes, I thank you, Nick, for everything that you're doing for the RC hobby. I wish you nothing but great success and hope that you and your daughter have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving.
Right back at you, brother. Thank you.
That
All
is
right.
it.
Well, we will call it a night
That
then,
is it for
ladies
me,
and
boss.
gentlemen.
All right,
And
buddy.
we will see you next week, Thursday night. Peace.
Perfect.
And off.